I'm going to show you how we deal with plantar fasciitis. So he has a number of things going on, but one of them is plantar fasciitis. Okay, so plantar fasciitis, he has a number of things going on, but plantar fasciitis is where someone will get real sharp pain right there, particularly in the morning. And one of the things that's very useful for this patient is I use a percussor directly on the attachment point to the calcaneus, and it works real well. So I put it on 0, so it's a very low level percussive device. And what I do is I'm going to place it, I'm going to angle it downward into his calcaneus, just like this. And so what this does, it produces a stress or a stretch on the plantar fascia as I'm percussing it. If you get them stretching their calves about 3 minutes at a time, 3 times a day, that really helps plantar fasciitis. So we keep this on for about 2-3 minutes, and then what I may do sometimes I may go up into the plantar fascia just to about halfway in the foot and then down. But the thing is that it's important that you angle it. You can see how it's angled a little bit, because if it was just flat like this, it wouldn't get into the plantar fascia that much. So we're going to do this on both feet. You want to say how much this helped you?
Oh, I think it's great.
You think it's great?
Oh, yeah. Everything I do, of course, everything I do in here helps me.
Well, that's good for YouTube, right?
That's true. That's true.
Good advertising.
Yeah, exactly.
But we've tried a number of things on this, like deeper massage, stretching, and this has probably helped you the most. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was the feedback, I think.
Because the stretching didn't really help that much for you when we stretched your calves?
Yeah, I do that stuff all the time anyway, so.
So you're doing it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you instructed, so.
Well, my experience has been that for, I'm going to say 70-80% of people, but that means that 30 to 40% it doesn't help. So you got to figure other things out. And sometimes people can have like a rotated calcaneus where the bone is shifted and it's producing too much strain on there. There can be misalignments of the individual bones of the foot that can contribute to plantar fasciitis, so stretching doesn't help that. But in your particular case, this percussive device seems to do pretty well. And usually when I use this on someone, and actually tell me if this is true or not, usually at first it'll be a little sensitive, and then after about 30-40 seconds, the sensitivity goes down.
That's accurate.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything you tell me is true. That was accurate.
So now I'm just going to go up and do about the midfoot and then down. I'm going to do some fancy word is post-isometric contraction. So what that means is you're going to pull your foot up, and this muscle is, and there's no test question, there's no test at the end, John. Relax. What muscle is this? This is the extensor digitorum longus.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what you were going to say? So what happens is he gives a nice isometric contraction. Isometric contraction means he contracts the muscle without motion. So you bring it up, you go against the toes, pull. So depending on the patient, you'll pull either really hard or real lightly, depending on how bad the condition is or whatever the patient's tolerance is. And you just hold it for about 7 or 10 seconds or so, and then let it relax, and then give a nice stretch to it. And that usually calms down the muscular activity that can contribute towards these problems. So usually with him we do about 3 cycles per foot. And most people will think more is better. And the problem with that is usually they'll mess people up. So there's an art to finding the right amount of pressure to use, which is always a challenge because every patient is different. we figured out here. Sometimes we've done a little too much and it aggravates the condition. So we have to find that fine line. And relax. So what I do, John, is I put these on YouTube, you know?
Yeah, I've looked at YouTube.
So the idea is that if people have plantar fasciitis, they'll watch my YouTube channel and go, oh, hey, he's not that scary. I saw a picture of him and he looked very intimidating.
I've used a number of your videos. I still use them. It's helpful to, because you forget the exact technique and all.
Actually, what's funny is my wife will say that. Sometimes I'll read the same book over and over. And she goes, haven't you figured it out yet? And one option is I could be a slow learner, but you pick things up the second time around,
Absolutely.
So if you watch something and you learn something and then you try it and then you do it again, sometimes you'll pick up things you didn't pick up the first time.
Yeah, I would agree, except you say yes to your...
Well, you just got to learn that once.
Yeah.
All it takes is one mistake. I'm going to edit this stuff out, by the way.
That's what I figured.
So he's getting pain. When I notice, I go down the muscle, and you can feel little areas where, for lack of a better explanation, it feels like gritty, almost like a beef jerky to me. That's what I feel. That's why when I'm doing that,
Like it's
feel
tight or
there.
stiff?
Well, when you say tight,
Yeah, you're right.
like if I make a muscle like this, my biceps tight, but you can't palpate. You can't actually feel any area that's noticeably different.
Well, beef jerky, I know what you mean. It's
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to place it, and I'm going to see if I can find the right angle. And this will be uncomfortable when I do it, but I just place it right there. And I'm going to hold it for about 10 seconds. I'm going to go to that one there. And then we're going to check that side. And what's interesting about trigger points and stuff is sometimes they won't be symmetrical. It won't be exactly the same, so I can't just go to the other side and do it.
check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday that side was worse than then.
This side.
Yeah, but it felt
Today,
like,
this side.
yeah,
Okay.
it felt like when I had that edema on this side or that side, I don't remember. It was the same type of pain, but I couldn't feel any swelling or anything. So it was a little lower too, but in that area.
But last time I was using the reflex hammer right down in here to see if I can elicit nerve pain.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I don't think you elicited any nerve pain.
Okay.
It just didn't. I know what, like when the neurologist does stuff, we either react or don't react.
Yeah.
It's like,
So when you see the little spots there where it still looks like I'm still there, like a little, that's called pitting edema. So what that means is there's a bit of swelling in the leg. So normally it would just, the skin would just snap back. You see how it's right there?
oh yeah.
See that?
I wasn't pushing that hard, but definitely I can still see it up.
Well, you can even see it right here. The camera probably won't be able to see it with the lighting, but we'll see how that does by next
My
time.
hat is gonna open.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along these muscles with my thumb and see if I feel anything abnormal along the path. So now this is the fibula, so that's my frame of reference. So I kind of know where things are.
I should have brought a magic marker.
Next time.
I've done that before. I had you mark the spots. It helps.
Yeah, well, that way you know where I am.
See, that's uncomfortable, but as hard as you're pushing, it's not, it's not like, it's just, just really sore. How's that? It's not like screaming.
Well, here's the thing, I don't wanna make it that
No,
sore,
no.
because then again, we can always, if we're on the right spot, we can always do it more next time if we want to.
Exactly.
But if we do it too hard now, it's kind of hard to undo it, because then you'll just pay the price with soreness.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I do stuff, I'm a guy, so I'm
Most guys will overdo.
man, you don't even know it till it happens.
I had one guy, he decided he wanted to work out, and he hadn't worked out since high school.
Oh.
So he decided to start with not bench press, deadlift. And he's a big guy. He's a big guy, so he starts with 300 pounds.
Oh my God.
Not wise.
But if-
The next day, where was he? He was in here.
He's lucky he wasn't in the hernia shop or whatever.
Yeah, actually, he was lucky in that sense.
Which I've already done that too,
Yeah.
but didn't